Today in the smuggler's room, yeah, we're fixing a hyperdrive. Or maybe I'll just show you how we built the Star Wars panel. What's up, you awesome geeks? I'm Brian and welcome to the Smuggler's Room, the show where each week this chubby geek tries to build something ridiculous, pass on a few tips, and inspire you to take on your own wild and crazy projects. If it's your first time here, then welcome, and if you love over-the-top, geeked-out projects, then you're in the right place. So don't forget to subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell so that you don't miss a single ridiculous project. Today's Star Wars-inspired panel is one of many that we're going to have in the Smuggler's Room build. If you're not familiar with what that is, hit the link above and you'll get a full breakdown. Now, what I want to do is take you through how this was put together. The panel itself was cut from a 1/4-inch MDF sheet. It was then sanded, sealed with lacquer, and then painted with multiple layers of both gray primer and then a gloss gray spray paint so that it had a reflective surface. Since the whole surface has already been painted, when we get started and we're going to apply different aspects to this, if we're going to do anything that has to glue, the surface has to be cleaned off, which means we have to take some kind of tool, which I'm using here as a chisel, and just scraping away that top layer of paint, followed by a little bit of sandpaper so that the glue has something to adhere to. I was able to find these square buttons here on eBay, a 100-pack for 15 bucks plus shipping, and they fit perfectly with this project. For these types of projects, you want to add items that up the level of interest. This is especially true if you can find objects that are contrasting in color, but also unrecognizable, at least to the average person. If you're anyone that's ever worked with computers, you might recognize these. They're hard drive motors, and you guessed it, I got them on eBay, a 54-pack for $25 plus shipping. One man's junk is another man's greeblies? eBay really is a great place to find random objects. But if you have a friend with a laser cutter, sometimes that can be better. This piece on the lower right-hand corner was cut with a laser. It's MDF, sandwiched together, glued, sealed, and painted. Then I added the colored plexis underneath the little windows. It's just another random part that makes up the look of this panel. Alright, let's talk about pinstriping. In the Star Wars universe, it's almost impossible not to notice the borders that are put on all different types of control panels and in cockpits. This frame is often seen around LEDs, switches, and other random parts to indicate some type of importance. To achieve this look, we buy the pinstriping that you can find at an automotive store. It comes in a variety of thicknesses and colors. Typically, I buy the silver, the red, and the white because that's what I see most often in the films. Once you get all the pinstriping done, we're just moving forward by adding other elements to the panel. The key is not to push it too far. You don't want it to look too busy. Less is more in most cases. I would say just tap your inner geek and let the force drive you. The last thing I worked on before doing all the electronics was adding the depth. A lot of these areas were cut out with the intention of having something behind there, so that when you looked at the panel, it looked like either the cover was taken off or that you could see the internal workings of whatever was happening behind that. When it comes to the electronics on this, it's super simple. It's basically LEDs, any amount that you want, wired up to an Arduino. It's very simple code. It's just a little bit of randomness to help you give the illusion that there's something working back there. This right here is wired up to a 9-volt battery, but it easily could be converted to have an actual power cord, which we'll do on a lot of the stuff that we're going to do in the basement. The panel itself turned out really good, and I have to say I'm super happy with it, though there are a few changes that I want to make before I put it into the room. And it's way too clean for a smuggler ship. I actually made a friend not too long ago who's building his own space, and it's gonna be themed. Yes, hold your applause. Even a geek like me can make a friend. Anyway, we're gonna send him this panel so that he can use it in his space. If you wanna see what we're gonna do next with the actual Smuggler's Room project, or you're just looking for other geeked out builds, then hit that subscribe button. And don't forget the bell so that way you're notified. And if you enjoyed this content, please hit the thumbs up for me because it really does matter. And until next time, keep building something out of nothing.